Hi.
Hi.
We're back in the stew with another special guest, also by popular demand.
Sort of a different stew today, but
Different stew today, but we wanted to do this interview on the home turf of the person that we're interviewing. This is Will, otherwise known as my husband, otherwise known as Protectee, when he's protecting specifically Haley, but everyone else. And this is our
humble abode.
humble abode.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Will. I am the husband of the glorious Emma Gladstone and the brother-in-law to Haley Gladstone.
Not glorious.
No, sorry.
No, glorious too. And I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, Will and I got married in June of last year, so June of 2024, but he's been in the cut. I can't pull that off, can I?
No.
Okay.
It sounded so natural.
Will's been
a part of the family.
Yes, Will's been a part of our family for over 9 years, which is crazy because I can't really remember like pre-Will time. When I think about our family, I also think about Will.
Same.
Yeah, it's crazy. I met you when I was 19 years old. Started dating when I was 20 years old, and I met Haley when she was a freshman in high school.
That's so weird.
Wait, let's talk about the first time you guys met, because that was hilarious.
At Colgate?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, I mean, all three of us actually went to Colgate, so that's sort of funny. But I was visiting.
Did we play an influence on that, by the way? Or
probably.
Did you just want to go to Colgate?
No, I'd say at first when I was like applying, I loved visiting, and like when I visited you without Emma there too, like that was really nice. Sounds really weird.
It's more fun.
No, but I'm just saying like I loved it, but I almost didn't want to go because Emma went. I was like, I want to do something different.
Yeah.
But then I realized that was sort of BS, and I loved it, and I went. So yes, in short, you did.
You were a freshman in high school, and I remember sorry, Mom. I remember you were walking around to everybody at the frat house being like, hi, I'm Haley. I'm a freshman. And I had to follow up and be like, in high school, get away.
I was literally like sticking my hand out, meeting all these boys. And I was
I'm a freshman.
They're like, oh my God, what dorm are you in? I was like, high school. Like,
you were 14 years old.
Dorm, her parents' house. Like, not good.
Yeah, I don't really know why they let me do that. But no, it was fun. It was fun. I drank the blue drink, which I shouldn't have at that age, but I did.
You were also like, for me, you were so excited to meet Will.
Mm-hmm.
I think because you had heard a lot about him from me.
It was still early in your relationship.
It was super early in the relationship.
What was it? Maybe like 2 months?
Yeah.
It was like fall. It was like Flapjacks and Flannels party.
Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. It was the spring. Flapjacks and Flannels is in the spring.
Okay.
Anyway.
So it's been official for a few months.
Well, yeah, because we came and babysit that summer.
Yes, yeah. You're right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we had sort of just started dating. It was your first like introduction to Will. And Will was the first like very serious boyfriend that I brought home.
Yeah.
So it was sort of like, who is this? What's the deal? Like, I don't know. It was
the first and the last.
First and only.
First husband.
Yeah, but it was just like, I don't know. We got along very well right away. I think
he was like giving you piggybacks around the
shoulder
frat house.
Yeah. No, it was ridiculous, but that was super fun. I don't know. It is interesting because I feel like you've obviously been a part of our lives for so long, but I feel like maybe I'm just thinking self-centered right now, but I feel like a lot of those years were very formative for me in the sense like you've seen both of my graduations from high school and college, and I think that's very interesting because like, I don't know, like I was like
did you have braces when you met him?
No, I didn't have braces in high school. I got them off in 7th grade.
Okay.
And then my boyfriend at the time told me that I looked better with them on when the day I got them off.
What a guy.
I was like, wait.
Keeper.
Well,
I want to refocus. I feel like we're tangenting. We could talk about Will, honestly, probably all day.
And all of our like escapades.
Yeah, and all of our escapades. The three of us, Will is one of the things that I love the most about him is how close he made an effort to get to my whole family, and then how close he's now naturally become to my whole family. Like, if he said he was going on a 4-hour road trip with my mom, I would be like, that's great. Like that, none of that would make me nervous. Asked. Yeah, I would just be like, okay, perfect. He is you have an individually amazing relationship with every single person in our family. So I feel like, and this is sort of the crux of what we want to talk about today, just what it's now like to be, well, you were on the front lines for my dad's accident, through the diagnosis, through everything, and then sort of what it's like to be so ingrained in our family that you're not, I mean, you're doing an amazing job of being here and being a resource for me, but like this is also a really big life change and inevitable loss for you. And I think you've been balancing that stuff really well, but I'm also seeing it from my POV. So I think Haley and I and the guests, the viewers, would like to just hear what your experience has been like over the last year of this crazy wildness. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a year yet, but almost.
You're
Almost
right.
a
Almost
year.
here.
We're a
Almost.
month out from April.
11 months.
We are, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
It's been hard. It definitely has its ups and downs. I think at the beginning it was harder. And I don't know like the stages of grief, and I know you guys talked about like pre-grief and all of that. But it did feel a little bit like a grieving period when we first got the news post honeymoon.
Yeah.
I think that was a week after our honeymoon.
Yeah. About that.
Of the official diagnosis. And I guess on my end, I've had two main focuses. The first of which is making sure that you're okay. Which, depending on what's going on in life, right? That can be hard, but it's also very fun to do and fulfilling. And I signed up for that job when we got married. I signed up for that job when we started dating. It's something that I want to do, right? Maybe it happened a little too fast post marriage, but again, that's, it's life, right? Things come at you fast, and there's no way to necessarily prepare for it, but you have to jump in and take part and try to do your best to make sure that your partner feels loved, and protected, protectee, and that you can do whatever you possibly can to alleviate the situation, right? And then the second focus, I would say, is on the wider Gladstone family. So Haley, you, Lucy, Becky, Doug, because I've known you guys for so long, but not just because I've known you guys for so long. One of the things that I love about you, specifically, is how close your family is. That attracted me to you very early on because family is so important on my end, and how tight my immediate family nucleus is as well. So I think the values were there from the get-go. And to what you guys were saying, like, I think it always felt natural whenever I first met you guys, whenever I spent time with you guys, spending time with your parents, spending time with you and Lucy. It never felt like a chore. It never felt nerve-wracking. It always felt comfortable. And I've always really appreciated that. And I think COVID too, living with you guys and being captured/kidnapped for 2.5+ months.
We absolutely did hold you hostage.
What was-
You
what was the
fully did.
It was like 1 week that turned into 2 months, or what was it? Was like a couple days.
He said he was going to come up for like a week or two,
weekend,
and then
yeah.
he actually tried to
I
leave.
know, Mom did leave.
No, it was Dad.
It was
Dad
it
was like,
Doug.
Dad was like, I'm sorry, you can't go.
Wait,
And like
what? I
that
didn't
was
know
that. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
assumed it was Mom.
Well,
because
so what actually
No,
happened
Mom was
was
like, don't go, but Dad was like locking the door.
no.
what actually happened was
He's like,
we
enough girls.
We sort of got news on COVID, and I remember Emma coming over to my apartment that I had just signed a month before COVID hit, which sucked because
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. But Emma came into my room and started to cry because
Cry?
Because you said, I want to be with you, but the world is essentially ending. So I need to go up and be with my family. I said, I totally get that. However, I need to be with my family too. But
Family
separately from
values.
that, I was nervous that, no one knew what COVID was yet, whether it was real, whether it was a scam, how it transmits, et cetera,
Who
et
ate
cetera.
what bat?
Exactly. And so my initial reaction was, I'm going to stay put in my apartment for 2 weeks or whatever. And I'm just going to make sure that like I'm fine so that I don't transmit it to anyone if I do potentially have it, because that would make me feel very, very shitty if I was the
Yeah,
person to give it
Totally.
to
That
someone.
was like the scariest thing.
Right. So Emma, you were crying because I said essentially, no, I'm not coming with you.
Well, it was
And you went up, and in the back of both of our minds was your 25th birthday at the end of March.
a while ago, man.
So
my age.
I spent my 2 weeks in self isolation in my little 2x4 apartment, which definitely helped my psyche. And Emma and I were talking, and I thought it would be a good idea to go up and go to your house with your family and celebrate your 25th birthday.
Little did you know you'd never escape.
Yeah,
The
I
door was
essentially
bolted.
I essentially said I'm okay to come up for like 2 weeks, but then I want to go see my family, because at that point I would not have seen them for a month. And for context, I see my family probably once a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Carry on.
I think I had to find a catalyst to leave at one point, because Doug essentially said to me, "You're not going home." And it was mainly because you can't go back to the dirty sidewalks with the gum on it streets of New York.
Yeah, he was nervous about you going back to New York, and I think he also like really liked having you around.
Oh, totally. And
We
I'm
had some
really
fun
happy that I
times.
stayed. I just think it's hilarious too.
It was really funny that you actually didn't have he did not give you an option. But I think that even just speaks to your guys' relationship. Like I think
Comfortable
all
enough
he
to keep him
ever,
hostage.
yes, no, but bigger than that. I think that our dad would have grown to love anybody that we brought back if they were someone that he could see loving us and being a great person for us. But even beyond that, like he just loves you as a human being, like on the side of being my partner, which I think is super special. And I think that relationship grew a lot during COVID when he was like, oh, great, I have a dude around. Now I don't have to like keep watching, I don't know, chick flicks.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
stuff.
I remember when I first came up to Boston to like really hang out with your parents.
Mhm.
And I remember being like slightly nervous for that trip, because it's, you want to make a good impression. It's a girl that you really like, and you want to have good manners, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember leaving that trip, and like the first, call it 5 or 6 or 7 trips up to Boston. And I would call my parents on the way home, and they would ask me, uh, how was it? Like, how was the trip? Did you have fun, et cetera? Tell me what you did. And my answer every single time, without fail, was it was fantastic. Doug and Becky treat me like a king.
They do.
And they do.
We just had to get more food in our
Yeah.
fridge.
Yeah, well, you guys eat like birds.
No, but that's the thing. Like not having a brother, like it was shocking to us.
Yeah.
It
The
was.
portions.
We were like, you want how many tacos?
I think I had 8 tacos that night.
Yeah.
To your 2.
I probably had 4.
To be fair, I ate an incredible amount during
You
COVID,
did.
and I still lost 15 pounds when I was with you guys for 2.5 months,
That's insane.
Solid.
which says a lot. So,
Almond dad.
no, but the point is, like, Doug and Becky both have always treated me like one of their own. And it's extremely nice, and it's lucky, and I feel loved by them, and I couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, like, that to me is hitting the jackpot.
Who do you like in our family the most to the least? Rank them, including Shay.
We're not doing that.
Shay is first.
Emma's last.
Emma is like smack in the middle somewhere.
Who's last?
Dude, I'm kidding. We're obviously not doing that.
Yeah, no, I know. You're closer to the bottom.
Well, it's like my dad has to go higher now. It sucks.
Yeah. He has brain cancer. You have to rank him higher.
Your dad was always in the top ranks, but Shay is first. Yeah.
That little purr.
You know that Shay and my dad are in a race right now?
Yeah,
Emma.
dark.
I dropped that as a joke last night a couple times, and like people laughed because they felt like they had to, and it was pretty good.
I feel like you have to laugh, so they're always good. The petty
those
laughs.
are sort of my favorites. Well, I think bringing it back to what we were sort of originally thinking about, I think just hearing more from you about like the similarities, I guess, and differences in grieving for a partner's parent who's going through something versus like, I don't want to say versus your own, but it just like there is an element of you have to be strong. It's almost like what Haley and I were talking about with our grandparents passing and feeling so upset about that because of our own relationships, but then also being like, okay, now I have to step up and be here for my parents. Like, what is really my role in this? Like, how have you sort of been navigating that?
Yeah, I think my role in this is to try to alleviate your anxiety, your stresses, and trying to make you feel as good as possible at all times, which is just not going to happen all the time too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think a learning curve for me throughout all of this was like, we're pretty good about sitting down and talking about things, whether that's like easy or hard or stressful, etc. And we've had some tense conversations over the last, call it 6 to 8 to 12 months, right? And usually in those conversations, we're able to find a resolve in the past, right? And I think that in this current situation, while you're looking for a solution, there just isn't one, right? And you can only take the conversation so far because the reality is like the conversation isn't really going to change anything on the back end. It's not going to change the reality of what's going on to Doug, to the family, to you, etc. And so it's hard. I would say, honestly, uh, it's not a fun position to be in. And at the same time, it's made me think about like my family and what would ever go on, like if it were to happen to us, which, everyone dies one day, right? And that's horrific, but that's life.
Also, when you're in a situation like this, it's like hard to not imagine like what it would be. Like it makes it more real, I feel like.
Totally. And what I would say, and I cannot imagine, I literally, even going through this right now, still, I cannot imagine being you in this situation or you.
Honestly, same.
It
is, yeah.
Same.
But like I would be a train wreck. I certainly would not be doing this. So
sort of crazy.
Kudos to you two. I can't express enough how proud of I am of both of you for being able to turn something that is such a negative into something that can potentially be a positive. And like the slogan, it's like whether you watch it or not, it helps you too, right? And I think that's so true.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that it helps you too. Me personally, I would never do this in a public forum, right? But I think it also is such a testament to who you both are and how you guys are able to still be creative and in a way entrepreneurial too when shit hits the fan, right? But on my end, like if this were to ever happen to me, what I think about is you and your role, and similar to how I'm doing that now, right? And the fact of the matter is, like, something that I've had to, or the way that I feel at least, and something that I've uh, thought internally about for a long time, is sort of, you have to, for the first time in a relationship, you have to be comfortable coming in second. And what I mean by that is, my vision of relationship, and the reason why I love you so much too, is that a relationship is a 50-50 partnership through and through. And then there are going to be times in your life like this now, or whenever it happens to me down the road, where one of the partners cannot be the priority.
Mhm.
And that's fine, right? I think moving forward, like, whenever there is some sort of resolve, then it goes back to 50-50. But my role in all of this is, I want to make sure that you're okay, or that you're as okay as you possibly can be in the moment at that time, but also to, like, take a step back too, and not try to be in the focus necessarily, or knowing that our relationship, which is so strong and has been building over the last 9.5+ years, needs to take a back seat to other priorities at the
Mhm.
moment, right? And so I think about that with you whenever I will potentially go down this road as well, where I know for a fact that you will play the same role, but also want to help me, right?
Mhm.
Um, but in that sense, it's hard, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of alone time, um, which is okay. I like alone time sometimes. We also did a 1.5 years of long distance,
Good
so we had
preparation.
some training
Mhm.
for it. But it's a lot of missing you, and that can be hard. But
Mhm.
sometimes it's, you know, that in the back of your head, that you need to be where you need to be, because that's the priority right now. And that's a good thing.
I think that's well said.
Really well said.
I also think, like, what I'm trying to say is, I think it's interesting, not that there's like a good or a bad time for the situation to happen, but I do think, like, it's like you literally just got married and you just had your honeymoon. And then, like, I think maybe, like, at least I would think about it how you would not expect this to be happening like right now, because no one would. But it just is interesting because it is like sort of like, oh, the first year of marriage, you expect to kind of like be with each other all the time. Or
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine, or like the honeymoon phase, like continuing for longer, but it's like that sort of got gypped from
Yeah.
you guys. So I just want to acknowledge that because it sucks
Yeah, we got hit with in sickness or in health, like
very early,
pretty like a week after our wedding,
if
essentially.
not
A
even
couple
before,
weeks.
too.
Yeah. And I think that's super hard. I think on the flip side, like it's difficult right now to balance prioritizing our family and our relationship and
Yeah.
work and friends. I can't imagine going through this and doing this with like young kids. Like that would be really hard, I think.
Like if you
Yeah,
guys had kids.
but
Yeah.
ultimately, like, it will happen.
Totally,
And
totally it
and that
will.
is something that we will need to navigate, and we
Yeah.
will navigate
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my God, I can't even
I
imagine
can't
that.
I can't imagine it either, but, like,
You figure it out, sort of
you
like
figure it
this. Like
out.
we couldn't imagine this situation, but
But you
No.
can't do
you figure
anything
it out.
but figure it out.
No. And I think
I
like
don't know.
I mean, to not be spending the majority of my time with you, I think that's really hard on both of us. And I think like our dad is extremely vocal. Every time I'm in Boston, he's like, "Well, what about Will? Like, is that
Seriously,
this
yeah.
isn't fair to Will."
Yeah, and that's a nice sentiment, right? But, like, you need to be there too, though.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I'm
And
telling him
like,
like,
but the relationship in this, uh, trust me, I would not say it in any other circumstance, but the relationship in this current circumstance should take a backseat, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
I feel comfortable with us, where I know we have a strong enough relationship where I'm not worried about it on the back end at all.
Right.
It's more just like, okay, how do I spend my time now,
Mhm.
right? Whether that's diving in deeper into work, whether it's finally or exercising for the first time in my life, whether
You've been
it's
doing good with that.
Swimmer.
Yeah.
whether
Go get a
it's
swim
watching a lot of TV or playing video games or spending more time with my family. There are different ways to make sure that you're not just sitting on the couch alone, etc.
Yeah.
And
Wallowing.
keeping yourself entertained, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you come back to Boston with me quite a bit, but I do also think like you've done a really nice job of towing the line of knowing where you can't expend your effort to come back because you need it here. And then also like giving us space too. Like I think you've done that exceptionally well. And like, yeah, I want you there. I want you wherever I am, obviously. Like that's my preference, but I don't want you to have to uproot your life in the same way that I've uprooted mine, because it's different priorities, it's different. This whole thing is sort of, there's no rule book for how to do this correctly or how to act correctly in this, and I think you've done such a great job. I don't just overall, it's hard, like I it comes up so often, like, oh yeah, we got married in June, and everyone's like, oh, that's amazing. Like, how is married life? Like, how's the first 6 months being married? And I'm
It's
like,
so annoying.
pretty bad.
I feel like you guys get asked
It's,
that every day.
And
No,
I mean,
like
it's like, and I don't want to get into it. So I'm like, it's great.
No,
Like,
last night I went out, and it's not the person's fault. Like, how are they
No,
supposed to know,
that's
right?
a normal question.
It's the same
It's a
thing as someone being like,
totally
"Hi, how
normal-
are you?" Like it's natural.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah. And-
not well, bitch. What does Dorinda say in Real Housewives?
But, like,
not well, bitch.
I was out last night, and I saw some people that I haven't seen in, I don't know, some people that I haven't seen in 3 months, and some people that I haven't seen since the wedding. And, they don't know what's going on. And they're coming up to me and saying, how's married life? And
Wow.
So bad.
first off, in my opinion, and like it's sort of a pet peeve, like I think it's a dumb question.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
It's like I put a ring on my finger.
You put a ring on it.
There is no difference. My response to that is typically the same each time. It's like, yeah, it's good.
You're like, it's the same.
I don't say it's great because
Because it's not.
well, no, because I think that's a lie. Right?
Do you think that there's people out there that are like, oh, they're on the wrong?
Yeah, like,
So I get that reaction sometimes.
no.
Like they're like, oh, it's not great. Like,
So fabulous.
yeah, it's like
Tell
you're not
them-
having the time of your life.
Tell them
And I-
respectfully to mind their own beeswax.
No, but the point is, like, I don't want to, Haley, to your point, it's like someone asking, hi, how are you? Right? I don't want to then just unload on them. Like, well, actually,
Sometimes that's fun though. I do that.
a week
sometimes.
after we
Do that
got
a lot.
married, my father-in-law got diagnosed with grade 4 brain cancer. And
Then you give them little finger guns and they walk away.
yeah, like,
You're gonna love this one.
I guess it could sort of be funny to like say that to someone once and just see how they squirm.
I do it a lot actually
And
when I'm out.
see, yeah. I've never done that, but like I get that question all the time, and I never know really how to respond to it
It's a really good
because
question for the circumstance.
relationship wise, I think we're great.
Yeah.
But like overall, mentally, like, no, I'm not 100% there right now.
No.
I don't think you are.
No, never
right?
been worse. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, it's been tough. So someone comes up to you haven't seen in a long time. Hey, how are you? How's married life? It's like, well, yeah, go fuck yourself. It's like,
You tell them.
no, I mean, no offense, but like, seriously, go fuck yourself. Like,
Doubling down.
No offense, but actually go fuck yourself.
I really like
no
you.
disrespect.
I really like you. I want to keep being friends with you. But at the same time, like, yeah, it's like one of those triggering comments. I don't know.
Yeah,
I understand. It's very
Yeah.
fair.
I feel the same. It's not fun.
Which sucks that that's a triggering comment because it's literally what every single person says at the onset.
People just don't know. I mean, and I feel like people are probably asking you different questions than they're asking us even too, but people just still, and it's not their fault. I wouldn't know what to say, nor do I even know what I want people to say, but people just don't know what to say.
It's uncomfortable.
One of my friends,
I don't know what to say. Like,
Yeah.
for the majority, I'm still uncomfortable talking about it. genuinely. And like I come over to your house with all 5 of you guys,
It's a lot.
and like
It's a lot.
everyone's talking about it openly. There's running jokes going on. Some of them are really, really dark. But that's a way for you guys to cope with it. And I
Yeah.
love that, right?
I
At the
don't
same
love all the
time though,
jokes.
like I think that I operate on a slightly different level. And
Yeah.
I think I don't love talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also suppress things, which is not healthy. So
Well, again, there's not like one right way to do it. I think there's also times where like I'm like, can we? I'd rather talk about politics than what we're talking about.
With mom?
Yes, like there's sometimes where I'm just like I can't do it anymore. But then there's also times where I find it to be like helpful and I feel it like healing. So it just like it depends.
Yeah. And I also think, like, I mean, I think we want dad to set the tone. Like, if
Yeah.
he feels like talking about it, I want him to feel like he can openly talk about it. And if he says, I don't want to talk about it, then I think we should all table it and put it somewhere else.
Yeah,
and I think we
sort
do
of
an
his role.
okay. Yeah, we do an okay job of that. But also, like, if you're him, like, this is what he's thinking about day in and day out. Not that it's not what we're thinking about, but
No, but it's completely
more so
different
than
for
that. Yeah.
the person with the actual diagnosis and like
Yeah.
the worries that he has for us and how we're feeling, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's funny, small things have started to tick me off that never used to tick me off before. And then some small things make me so excited now that I never thought would make me excited.
Like what?
Yeah, good question. Now I need to have an example of it, and I don't have any examples.
That's okay.
I like when I get bored pretty fast now. Which I don't know what that is, but like
I think that's like an overstimulation.
I like when I want to hang out with friends now, sometimes it's fun to like go to a bar and drink or whatever, but I honestly I actually get really bored by that now. Like I can't just I'd rather sit on the couch watch TV with you than like go to a random bar where I'm like sort of uncomfortable in the seat because it's a tall chair and like my legs are just swinging versus
I like
So specific.
so understand.
versus
They're
and
never
like
comfy.
and like drinking some drink that I have to pay for that I could get for free in my own apartment.
And it like doesn't
that,
taste
like,
good.
and it doesn't taste good versus sitting here on the couch and like eating some good Chinese food and just like hanging out with you.
That is what we do. A lot.
So like that stuff, while it's okay once in a while, I get bored by that now. And the things that I've noticed on my end, like where I try to take things day by day now or like week by week. And the days where I have a really good day is where like something spontaneous happens, but it's like a rando activity, right? Where it's, oh, I went to this restaurant I've never been to before. And like I had this dish that was phenomenal. Or, we walked to a new neighborhood in New York City that was sort of fun and we popped in and out of shops. Or we went bowling, even though we've never done that before. But like,
Do you want to go?
not really even. But like my point is, it's more activity related than uh, going somewhere else and just like drinking.
I will say I understand that, and I think I don't want to like put words in your mouth by any means, but I do think that I felt similarly where like certain things I'm bored by or like I don't want to exert energy for because I think my energy and just like overall tolerance for people, for things, for like I don't know, my irritability too is just like higher. My energy's lower, my irritability is
Yeah,
higher.
I
It's
only
social battery.
Yes, it's like the
That's how I-
100% thing that we talk about. Like my
Yeah.
100% is probably like my 60 these days.
I only have so much energy.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
like I've stopped being able to like exert that with people I don't want to. Like I just don't. And
Yeah.
like situations I don't
No,
really
but
wanna do, or
I
it's just hard.
wanna exert that energy for everyone that I know. I like most of the like pretty much everyone in my life that is currently still in my life, right? Like I love being around, and I like spending time with them. Um, so don't get that idea that I don't like you.
Yeah, me neither.
But
Get it from me.
I also think it's hard right now. that's the crux of it, right? None of this is
Mhm.
easy.
Yeah.
It's just figuring out how to make it, day by day and have a good day.
Hmm.
Um, and there's only so much social battery, and you want to be 100%, but it's hard.
Yeah, I think, and it's hard to not be hard on yourself when you're not. Like, that's one of the things that I've struggled more with is like, okay, if I can't get up and work out, if I can't finish this project for work, like, not really being mad at myself and just knowing like, okay, not everything's going to happen like it used to. You don't have the energy like you used to. If I have a really awkward conversation because I just couldn't like carry the conversation, which usually I'm pretty good at, it's like, that's fine. Like, to not
Hmm.
let those things give me anxiety is hard. And that's why, I mean, I even said this in our wedding vows before all of this. Like, my happy place is not on the couch by myself. It's like on the couch with you. Like, it's always, it's wherever you are, I think, is just that added nice comfort. And it's hard to not spend as much time with each other when I'm in Boston and going back and forth. But when I am here and you're here, it's like, I don't want to make a plan. I don't want to see anyone. I just want to be like
Just be.
zen sitting with you because
Yeah,
that's
I'm with
my
you.
favorite space.
And then sometimes we do need to make a plan, right? We need to make an effort and we need to show up.
It's a
Yes.
balance.
Yeah. And we do
And
that, but it's
I'm
my
excited to do
preference
that.
to
Yeah,
be doing this.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Unless there's something like really cool happening.
Like what?
Like what?
You both need like to get your examples more ready.
I was like kind of kidding. I don't know, like,
Bowling.
yeah, like bowling.
Yeah, like
I think we should go bowling.
I do think it's important to have something to look forward to.
I totally agree. Is there anything else that you do or that you want to start doing as sort of like a coping mechanism just to counter how you're feeling and all of that stuff? Like, I don't even know if I have a really good answer, but like, I started doing acupuncture and that's like a nice zen for me. And I think it's been helpful. Like, has there been anything that you've changed or that you've wanted to change aside from like planning things to look forward to that you think have helped you through this?
Yeah, I just started getting back in the pool last couple weeks.
Can you
So
put-
that's
Can you put on
actually
your swim cap?
that's felt really good in terms of my mind. It's like
Yeah.
the one thing where like um when you're swimming some sort of long distance, like your mind just sort of melts, which is nice. And the other thing that I need to do that I have not done yet, which is just silly of me, is I need to go to some sort of therapy and talk to someone, which I have not done for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe that's laziness or
It's harder.
It's
It's
also
easier said
not
than done.
wanting to go and talk about it. But
Yeah.
that is something I do need to do. And I
Mhm.
recognize that.
It's easier said than done, though. But
Much easier
you
said than
saying
done.
you even acknowledging it is a big step.
Yeah, I
in my
think that's
opinion.
huge.
Yeah, totally.
I think a lot of men specifically don't think that they need mental health help or feel like weird about doing that. And I know you don't have that stance, and I so appreciate that about you that you're even open to trying it because I feel like I know a lot of people that would be like, I'll figure it out. And
Yeah,
like,
very
that's
closed off.
Yeah,
like, why would
no,
you not use resources that are helpful to you?
it has nothing to do with like a gender thing for me. It's more just like I did try it once when I was a freshman in college, and I went twice to the same person, and I just thought they sucked. So,
Yeah.
They might have.
and that's my only experience with it. And so, like in the back of my head, I'm like, and this might be a waste of time. But that's not an excuse. Like I need to. I know that at the end of the day, if you find the right person for it, it can only be helpful.
Mhm.
So I need to do that. I haven't done it, but I need to.
That's good. I'm proud of you for
Me
even
too.
thinking about it. And
Thanks.
just in general, I think, like we said at the top of this conversation, we're all in a hard spot. You're in an even another layer of a hard spot, just given the nuance around your role, our relationship, our recent marriage. It's just a lot. But
It's a
I
lot
think,
to navigate.
yeah, but I think you've done a really, really nice job. And I don't think I could get through this nearly as well as I have been without such a supportive partner.
I
So,
I
agree with
appreciate that. And that's my goal.
Good
I want to
friends.
make sure that you're okay.
well,
And
yeah,
same with you
I know.
all the time.
Thanks.
my besties.
Yeah. Hands are sweaty.
Me too.
Same.
Really.
My hands are sweaty too.
It's really warm in here.
Well, thank you again
course.
for being on.
Thanks for having me.
We both love you so much. We all love you so much.
Yeah.
And I love you too.
You're just the best.
Love it.
Thanks.